Good evening. You're flying with Pod Squadron podcast. All wings report in. This is Andy, Pod Job standing by.
This is Tracy, Pod Tracer, standing by. I think we've got Lexi coming in a minute.
And of course, we still have Rodney from the command ship. All chips to attack formation. Mission objectives to talk about. Oh, wait.
Wait, there she is.
There. Are you standing by?
I made it.
Yay.
Sometimes the internet is just, oh.
All ships to attack formation. Mission objectives to talk about Star Wars in movies, streaming, animation, books, themed experiences, and your art and inspiration from a galaxy far, far away. Today's flight plan includes the Bad Batch Season 2, Episode 10, and preparation for Mandalorian Season 3. That's starting this week. That's starting Wednesday, March 1st. So we're going to dig back into everything that has happened thus far, because really it's been 3 years, guys. It's been 3 years.
Wait,
since
two.
Season 2. 2? Is it
2
years?
years.
It was 20.
It can't be 3 years.
I can't keep track of time, so I just trust you guys.
Because last year we had the Book of Boba Fett, and then the year prior,
Which was Mandalorian Season 2.5.
So 2021 was in December was when we finished.
Because
Season
we
2.
started this podcast about 3 years ago when COVID hit.
Right.
Yeah.
In fact, that was the whole thing. Was the Mandalorian came out right before, like the fall before the pandemic. So hey, we were a step ahead of everyone else in coming up with a podcast, like everyone else did.
Wait, we were here before the pandemic hit?
I think so, right?
Were we?
I joined during the pandemic, and it was such a relief to have
'cause-
somebody to talk to Mandalorian about. Because I'll tell you, I was quarantining with my family, and they didn't give a fuck.
I think it was slightly before.
Yeah,
Slightly before?
When it was you, me, and Benja, we started
Slightly
before the world fell apart.
Yeah. For some reason I thought we started during the pandemic, but I guess you're right.
Yeah,
Whew.
yeah.
Goodness sakes.
So of course, for all of you out there, all com channels are open. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Find us on YouTube, like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you know when we have new content. But first, I am your squad leader for today. I'm Andy Lowe, the Chinese pirate, director, storyteller, puppeteer, performer, and fight choreographer. On my wing, as always, is Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy, writer, blogger, and occasional cosplay artist. The only hot nerd girl, Tracy Deering, which is exactly what it says for once I actually read it.
And on my other wing is Lexi.
Hi guys, Lexi, Feral Geek Aesthetic on social media, multidisciplinary artist, and right now just a really tired caterer.
Oh, so tired. Well, I'm not a caterer, but I'm also tired.
And of course, we were just one squad in this fleet. We're part of the Geekish Network. That's here on YouTube and on Facebook. Find us, follow us, and for all the other great shows. We'll also have a crosstalk. We'll have crosstalk after.
No
crosstalk. crosstalk today.
No
Okay,
crosstalk today.
but check out Geek Beast, which is usually every day here on
which is
the
sad,
network.
but I'm tired, so I blessing in disguise.
S foils to attack position. We're going in. And we're going to jump right into the Bad Batch, Season 2, Episode 10. This is the episode entitled Retrieval. And this is, of course, part 2 of the previous story. Do one of you guys want to give us kind of a quick recap of what happened in Episode 9?
Yeah.
And it had some of the best music I think they've had in the series. But
Wait, you're saying a recap of episode 9 of Bad Batch?
So what happened the previous week that led us into this episode?
Oh, well,
'Cause remember,
basically,
it ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, they ended up in a ghost town, like a mine. They went to go do some mining for Sid, and somebody stole their ship, and they ended up in this little ghost town with a storm off in the distance, and not that many rations.
a really badass group picture where they're all like,
Yeah.
What do we do now? Yes.
Their next album cover.
their
Yeah.
next album cover. They took a minute for a photo shoot for that.
And of course, we also found out that their ship was stolen by some ne'er-do-well, so they were stranded, and Sid was not doing much to pick them up.
That's right. Yeah.
So we open this week with episode 10. They are still in that town. They're trying to do some repairs and just trying to find a plan of what to do and just find people or find settlements. But the brainstorm comes to Omega because Omega thinks of who?
Donkey.
Yes, Omega realizes that they can't trace the ship, but they can make contact with Gonki and use that as a way to kind of figure out where the ship is. And they find out that the Marauder is not off-world, which is, thank God, but on-world, and stolen by a new character named Benny Barrow, who... How do you guys want to describe this this group here?
Oh, I just realized I don't have my notes.
Benny's
I must have left them on there.
It's like gives me non-force sensitive Ezra vibes.
No. Gives me
the
Oliver vibes. Please,
Yeah,
sir,
I was
can I
gonna
have
say
some
that-
more?
there's totally a
Can I have some more?
Oliver things from that.
Oliver meets Temple of Doom was how this episode kind
Yeah,
of felt.
so
Yeah,
okay,
there we go.
so that was
I'll
the funny
take
thing.
that.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because I was thinking, for so much of this whole season, we've had like a little bit of a Raiders of the Lost Ark vibe when they're like exploring the the ruins and finding the thing that ends up destroying the world, and then they have to put it back and give up on the item. Then we have the other thing where Omega has the jewels from Dooku's stash, and she's like, oh, I can just reach it, and Echo's the one who basically fills in the role of Henry Jones Sr. and says, Junior, let it go.
Let it go, yeah.
Indiana. And so here we had the Temple of Doom with the child labor exploiting and the mines.
And they all have like neck tattoos, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because they're like 12 to like 14, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like interesting. Like how are there all these? They don't really address like why these kids don't have parents, but they're like working mines.
Yeah, did all their parents die in the mines? I don't know.
That's a different show.
Well, they do mention. I mean, we kind of had that in Andor, right? But they talk about how one of the conglomerates, right, like the mining conglomerate, used to kind of control the mines, and this what is it? Mako, is that it? I don't have my notes. Mako, he's like the one adult left behind, and the
Disney villain adult, literally,
right?
Disney villain adult.
And he's like
he's kind of the Fagin figure, right?
Yeah.
And aside from him, there's really just droids, kind of keeping all the kids intimidated. But he's got this weird thing where the kids like hero worship him, kind of. So even though he's like, he makes them fight over like a bowl of soup, like they still are like, oh, he's like, he saved us. He's the one keeping this whole thing running, like, and so it's he's controlling them in more ways than one, which is interesting.
Yeah, totally Fagin from Oliver, and more anti-capitalist messaging in Star Wars.
Which gets really ironic, but we're here to get into story content, not
Indeed.
I thought episode 9 had some, because I wasn't here last week when you guys discussed it. I was like, all right, there's the tech character development I was personally waiting for. Like they rounded out with what you got on when they were going for Dooku's treasure chest, and him seeing people as people. And I loved that. I love the moment where Wrecker and Hunter are like, come on, man, just go check on the kid. It's like they're sending the awkward uncle, and he's like, oh, okay.
Well, that, and also his like, him checking on her is like, what is your deal?
Yeah. I mean, and I loved how after they go through, after they go through the rapids, the subterranean rapids, how he's just like, good learning moment for Omega too. Like people process things differently.
Right. Yes. Your smart uncle is also on the spectrum. So
I really got that. I was like, oh, Audie Tech. Like,
what does he say? He said just because I don't express it the same way does not mean I do not.
Yeah, he's like, I think he even says like my brain processes things differently.
Yeah,
which is good though, because they balance each other. Because she's kind of making him feel feels, and he's kind of making her like look at things a little bit more analytically and a little less all from the heart, right? Like you have to have that combination.
Well, and so that's it. I mean, it's also kind of an interesting thing for Tech to full on give Omega props to, like, oh, that's a good idea, tracking Gunky. And part of that is, of course, because Omega, being, the compassion-driven one of them, thinks of Gunky as their friend who they have to come protect. So she's thinking of Gunky. The others are not necessarily as
opposed to just a weight set.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, oh man, we lost the laptop along with the ship, like.
I mean, and that's something also I noticed, which is kind of a cool little callback too, where even they have the dude, what's his name again? Shoot,
Mako.
No,
Benny?
the kid.
Oh, Benny.
Like Benny's like, you're just a broken battery, and when Omega confronts him, she says he's not just a broken battery to us. He's
our broken battery.
Our broken battery.
I love how Wrecker is like this big guy, but he's also kind of like a whiny little bitch, but in like the best way. But like in a like a really endearing way. Like
Teddy
he's
bear
just
with
like,
fangs. Teddy bear.
Oh, we have to. I'm hungry.
I love how I love how when they are first dealing with Benny, like 90% of his interactions are just to like square his shoulders up and growl. It's like somebody complains, he's just like, ugh, and they're like, okay.
Andy did that right before we came on the air. Like 100%.
Yeah.
Can I just tell you my favorite moment from this episode?
Do it.
Because the first season was so much like Hunter and Omega, and we've gotten far less Hunter so far this season, which is not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I've missed a little bit that Hunter Omega father-daughter ish, thing. I mean, really, they're all kind of uncles, but if there was one that was a little bit more of a dad, it would be Hunter, right?
Yeah.
And when he jumps off of that ledge and she understands what he's gonna do, and throws herself off with the robot, and just like they just catch each other and swim.
Yeah. With just the look, I thought they played that off really well for for the limits of their animation. It's like I knew exactly what was happening there with like just a look. I was like, okay, that's cool.
That was well.
I love that.
That was well shown. I mean, and I love that it not only demonstrates her trust in them, but how we've been saying, like, they've been showing how they function as a group. Mm-hmm. He trusts her to make that jump.
Yeah.
He's not like, oh man, I got to risk myself extra because the kid can't do thing. He's like, nah, she's got this.
This is the second time that they've let her go off with a person that they don't know, and left, they've trusted her to be able to handle herself.
Mm-hmm.
Our girl's growing up.
So big, so fast.
She reminds me a little bit of Kess from Voyager. I'm like, is she is she gonna go through puberty early? What's going on here?
They could play that off with the clone DNA.
Well, they do grow at an accelerated rate, so I guess in a way she kind of is like Kess.
I was gonna say I don't think she was hit with the growth accelerator, but I mean, they may play it off as I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised.
Now, this was actually something I was thinking about in terms of the larger arc, in terms of what will happen, as we get closer to the end of the season, right? But it occurred to me that based on the growth acceleration, like Rex should be really old by the time we see him in Rebels, which made me wonder, do we think we're gonna see like some kind of like MacGuffin for them to find something that halts the clone aging?
Well, I feel like it does slow down. Like it's accelerated to young adulthood, and then they're still accelerated, but not to the same rate.
Yeah, I feel like they just have like a whatever, the opposite of puberty blockers are.
Like you get to 35, and then they
you stop dosing you with whatever
plateau,
it was, right? But okay, but just on that topic for a second, can you imagine how horrible something that isn't really touched on, how horrible it would be to hit puberty at an accelerated early rate? Oh my god, you guys.
I mean, that's what happened to Kess. Normally the Ocampa reached sexual maturity at like 4 or 5, and she was like 2.
Yeah, and that would just be, my god, the laundry there. Anyway, but yeah,
we could do a whole episode about Kess. Let me tell you, there's some serious like social issues going on with the Kess situation, and
so just making sure everyone like, we're talking about Kess, who was one of the characters from Voyager.
Oh, they know. They're all in the comments.
Okay,
they're like, good comparison.
Okay. I don't see the chat, so I'm just like, for those, I can't assume that everyone is like in both Star worlds.
Okay.
But,
there's also, forgive me for bringing this up, but my boyfriend and I were like, how many of the clones are virgins?
I mean, I imagine many of them.
Fight.
I mean, mostly, right? And I would imagine that like part of their whole programming is
Like,
reduce
are they
reduce
programmed,
sexual drive
right? Like, are
because
they
they are
programmed to
programmed
be
up.
asexual? How do they, like? I mean,
But a bunch of them have families that left.
Not a bunch. Like we've only seen
handful.
one. We've only seen one. One.
Is it just
clone
one?
with a family.
Which implies that there's a small handful, but that it's not as common. So I'm like, okay, obviously, like there's still an interest in people, but I'm just like, I'm thinking, oh man, like that puberty in the barracks must have been rough.
I mean, if they all look like Tamara Morrison, I would hit this.
But I mean that's the interesting thing, right? Because like a couple episodes back, when Chuchi is talking to the clones at the clone bar, and many of them are like, "I'm a soldier. I was raised to be a soldier. That's all I know how to do." And then of course, Chuchi is saying, okay, but you're not always going to be able to be a soldier. We need to think about like what that is and what you want your life to be. So that's why I kind of wondered, like, maybe like that could be an interesting plot point of it's the idea that many of them are aging out of being able to fight also, right? Because of that advanced aging is that another?
It's not like they had a lot of free time either. Like you brought up a good point. Like they were brought up to be soldiers and they were in a war, and it's not like they were around a lot of women except for Jedi, and Jedi typically don't.
Really don't, yeah.
Get involved
and they're all brothers, so like I really don't.
No orgies.
Like I was gonna say, I don't think there's any clone orgies because
that'd be kind of weird. Clone brothers. Hey.
Yeah.
Although I just saw a video about a girl who married her stepdad and had a kid with him, and I was like, well, that's some white trash fuckery right there. Like, what's sorry. Anyway,
at least they're not biologically related. I mean, not that it makes it any less gross.
It's not just white trash. I mean, Woody Allen,
Oh yeah. Well,
I was gonna say, does that make him white trash then?
Maybe, I don't know.
Or does he have enough money that he's in Game of Thrones territory?
No.
But
anyways.
I
rabbit hole.
I don't feel like we have any incest clone orgies. So yeah, I think most of the clones.
We got off on a tangent.
Omega's about to go through puberty. Who's gonna explain her period to her? This girl. Anyway.
Maybe she doesn't get a period.
So I gotta say also, I had a quick flash where I was like, wait, they addressed that, and I'm like, oh no, I'm thinking of Last of Us, which is a different.
Which, if you guys saw my go bag bug out bag video, I literally have that in my go bag, and they put it on the show, and I was like, thank you, because it's been in my go bag for years now, and I was like. It is going sideways. I'm sorry, Molotov rat. It is very much going sideways. We do that sometimes.
So back to the episode. Basically what we have here is also ultimately Omega kind of sort of befriends Benny. Can we say befriends? I mean, she
likes to see the good in people.
Yeah, she definitely plants a seed.
But they ultimately like hold him accountable and say, "Hey, you stole our ship. You're gonna help us get it back, you jerk." And they kind of strong arm him into helping them kind of break in, and get the ship back. And he's okay with that because ultimately he thought stealing his ship would get him more portions or more rations,
soup, a bowl of soup,
more soup. Yeah,
more soup.
Total Oliver Twist vibes. And of course it did not.
Mako eating all of his food in private really gave me like Denethor from Lord of the Rings energy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
except I don't think he's gonna set himself on fire anytime soon. But yeah.
No, well, I mean he did end up on fire, but he didn't self-immolate. So
liar, hands on fire. But this is also the opportunity that Omega takes to kind of show that he has been lying, that he has been hoarding resources and using them all. And of course, much like Temple of Doom, we have a big standoff on a hanging bridge. And this is the moment that Benny is able to to out him as kind of basically manipulating them all. And we see all of them kind of start out intimidated, as they have all been, because they all hero worshipped him. And of course, once they unify, they
that was like some Lord of the Flies shit right there, where they all just like poked their head over. I was like,
and I gotta say, probably one of the more gruesome comeuppances in Star Wars. It was kind of Tarzan the animated.
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
the way
such
that
a
kind
great word, comeuppances.
Yes.
That's a good
I like
one.
that, Andy.
Thank you.
And you know, I mean, and it showed. I think it really showed that, you know, Benny at his heart, deep down, does have a good heart, because he's
A moral center.
still at the very end. Mako's like hanging by his cane, and he's like, "Take my hand," you know, like we can settle this. You're not gonna be, you know, like you're not gonna be in charge, but you don't have to die. And yeah, it ends up not happening. I was afraid he was gonna lose a hand, and we'd have another robot hand.
Which I'm just like, how petty is that? Like you're about to die. Like, screw it, I'm gonna make you die with me.
Yeah.
For outing me.
Yeah, I was afraid it was gonna get more gruesome and he was gonna rip the hand off. I'm kind of glad they didn't go there.
Right, that's true.
He had that
ripped the hand off
That's
his
true.
child.
We didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about his robot claw, his droid claw, which is
so
like the machine at Chuck E. Cheese claw.
yes,
Yeah.
the claw. The claw will decide.
he kind of looked like Silver from Treasure Planet's deranged cousin.
Nice, a Treasure Planet reference. Nice.
Underrated movie.
That
Totally
is an underrated movie.
I think it's gorgeous. That animation is
So good. Scoring, everything, so good.
Let's see here. Omega soundtracks a droid. What have I missed? Anything else? Any other impressions?
I mean, I really liked the soundtrack for this 2-episode arc.
So yeah. So okay.
Sure.
What jumped out to you about the soundtrack specifically?
It sounded a little more like Mandalorian, which is not specifically why I liked it, but I was trying to put my finger on it. It had more of that space western kind of feel. Not that the soundtrack, the score has been bad for the Bad Batch, just so much as like there hasn't really been anything in either of the seasons beyond the theme song at the beginning where I'm like, oh yeah, you know, where it, like not only like compliments but is, you know,
I disagree here. Every episode's been so different. The soundtrack has been completely tailored to each episode.
Yeah, it's been really different. I don't think it's been, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's been bad. And I think to a certain degree, a good soundtrack will blend in so much that if it's like in a certain way, if it's doing its job, you almost don't notice it because it enhances without calling attention to itself.
I haven't really been paying attention to the soundtrack.
But that's what I mean. Like
I do because I want Howard Ho back on the show.
Yes.
Except Howard Ho moved to New York. He's harder to get a hold of now.
Well, but it's because he's best friends with Lin-Manuel Miranda now.
Yeah.
Whatever.
He's off living his best life
now. No, but this was just the first. This was the first soundtrack where I, you know, wasn't just like, oh, that was lovely, it did its job. Where I was just like, oh, I would go find that on iTunes and listen to it. So yeah, that was standout for me. I thought it was particularly good, and that it, I don't know. I really loved what we were talking about, how it showed, you know, Omega as a part of the group that they trust to complete things on her own.
Well, and of course, how Omega's role is elevating as they lose both Crosshair and now Echo too, right? Because like Echo has been very much kind of like the conscience of the group, even in the first season when his role was way limited, like not enough Echo for me. But and I gotta say, like that part of me that was frustrated that Echo wasn't getting enough to do in season 1 is like, I'm glad he left with Rex, but like,
we're gonna have an episode of just them. We are.
Yeah, totally.
I promise you.
They better.
Yeah.
It's also kind of surprising. We've really only had one episode with Crosshair this season too, right?
Yeah.
The lone clone. He'll come back. Whatever.
Well, and we'll also we know Cody is out there somewhere, so that's another question. Has Cody met up with
Rex
with
and
Rex
Echo?
or
Yeah, that's what I was.
get that
I'm
little
hoping
reunion
that.
bet going again, right?
Their initials spell wreck. I digress.
Any other impressions, thoughts about where we are in the season now, or
Are we halfway through? How many episodes are there?
I think
16?
we are.
17?
I was actually asked that question so I could stall, so I could
Oh.
look that up a little bit.
Well,
okay, here we are. So this was episode 10. There are 16 episodes in the season. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5, 6 more episodes.
okay, so now we're gonna have all this like cross double stuff with Mandalorian and Bad Batch. So y'all gotta catch up on Bad Batch if you haven't. It's really fast to catch up on it. So
Yeah, nice little short and sweet episodes.
So next week's episode is called Metamorphosis. Actually, we can talk about this. So here are the titles for the next 6 episodes. So episode 11, Metamorphosis. Episode 12, The Outpost. Episode 13, Pabu. That's spelled Pabu. Episode 14, Tipping Point. So that's probably when you get your Rex and your Cody back, right? And 15 is The Summit, and 16, the season finale, is called Plan 99, which is very interesting. That sounds like maybe revelations about stuff there, right? Because we know 99 is probably in reference to, well, both of course they are Clone Force 99, but they are named for 99, who was
the little old like Igor,
the
clone.
little Igor clone
that the bar is named after.
That still hurts.
Yeah.
His death still hurts. Oh man.
That was in Clone Wars, right? That storyline.
Yes.
It's all the way back in Clone Wars, and it still hurts. I wonder if Pabu is a character or a planet.
Yeah, Pabu sounds like a character to me.
Sounds like a character.
But planet is also a good guess as well. The Outpost. I don't know what that.
I bet you that's the Rex and Echo episode. I'm putting 10 cents on it right now.
Oh, so like maybe the Outpost is where all the clones who have defected, not defective clones, but the defected clones.
Special. They're special.
No, that they defect to defect.
Oh.
Went AWOL.
Yes, the AWOL clones. That's probably better.
Gotcha. Like, Andy, we don't say that word.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I'm enjoying the season has made, there's like some episodes where I'm just kind of like, it's kind of light, but I've been enjoying it, and yeah, the big things for me are, all of that transition, just kind of seeing, the world as it adapts to the Empire and how the Empire's kind of taking hold. That's been like the most interesting
fuck it up.
Yeah.
They actually made yes, we should move on, but they made a note of that this guy Mako with these children is a microcosm of what the Empire does.
Yeah, totally. Right. That's true. Okay, that's an important point. Is that the end of the episode ends with Omega making this realization that it's not just the Empire that is evil, but there are like normal people who are bad also, and her kind of inferring that maybe we should, become more involved or help other people. It's more of that Space A-Team.
Yeah.
Good vibes.
Toppling space dictators. That would be kind of cool if they hinted they might take it in that direction. I wouldn't be mad.
But
Mando.
we're gonna move on now because, of course, as we mentioned earlier in the show, Wednesday is the season premiere for season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Oh, I'm so excited! You guys, my boyfriend knows I'm a huge Pedro Pascal fan. Like
now you get a double dose.
I know. You're gonna get a double dose.
Big old celebrity crush. And so the other day I came home to a drawing on my whiteboard, and he drew Mando on the whiteboard, but he wrote, "I'm gonna bring you in warm."
Hi. Hello. What I'm saying is,
I was like, you know me way too well, and
have you seen the pictures of him when he's young and he was like on Buffy and stuff? I'm sorry, there are people.
He was on Buffy.
He was on Buffy, yeah, like the 4th season or something. But
as who?
I don't remember. I just saw like I think he was like one of the frat boys with the. Remember the guy who ended up dating
with Riley.
Riley. Oh, I thought he. Oh, see,
That's
I had a little bit of a crush on Riley back in the day, and then he was on
he
some
was
other
too pretty
show as
boy.
like
I was
a
like,
dad, and I was like, oh. Anyways, I never had a thing for David Boreanaz. I will say, never. No. Anyway, digress.
Eddie.
Well, you know, okay, so this is the funny thing too, okay, because you guys may have seen this, the those of you listening may have not, but someone put together an image of the Mandalorian with his rifle, flanked by Grogu in his little pod, and they put it side by side with a photo of Pedro, you know, with the sniper rifle,
Joel.
showing Ellie how to shoot in The Last of Us. And so I took it upon myself to just write a description of this photo, and I wrote, Pedro Pascal plays a damaged and hardened warrior with few allies and little trust after tragically losing family members to soldiers in a frantic evacuation. But everything changes when he is put on a mission and is charged with caring for a young child with mysterious abilities who is hunted for their blood. Over time, the loner learns to care for the child as his own as they travel and toil across wastelands, encountering both friendly allies and settlements and cutthroat enemies with their own agendas. Over time, the two learn to rely on one another, bond, and become a family. Now, which show did I write about?
Okay, but wait, I got cut off because Pedro Pascal, don't get me wrong, like he was a good-looking young guy, but he's one of those people who has gotten like freakishly good looking like the older he gets, and it's very weird.
Silver Fox Syndrome.
Oh, and he's been.
I mean, hopefully that works for me.
Like,
I mean, I don't know.
He's been like BFFs with what's her name from American Horror Story and all those shows for like forever. If you hadn't just asked me, the chick from like American Horror Story, and she was also in like the Firefly movie Serenity, and she's been in a bunch of things. She's dating the much older woman who was like in Legally Blonde. Holland Taylor is her partner. Oh, you guys in chat, help me out. Like, why am I blanking?
I'm useless here.
She's like in every season of American Horror Story. I saw her in an elevator once when she was dating the Broadway actress, and we smiled at each other, and her girlfriend like got really mad at me. All I did was smile at her because I recognized her from Serenity. What? Say it again.
Sarah Paulson?
Yes, Sarah Paulson. Thank you. She was like the hologram in Serenity on the diseased planet. Anyway, where the Reavers came from. Anyway,
well,
they've been like BFFs for forever, and they both look way better with age. And I'm like, okay, vampires, let's go.
He did. I did see an interview with him where he credited her with his Game of Thrones cast.
Oh.
Because
that's right. I always
she put in a big word for him. Yeah, and then he got the. Yeah,
because he was kind of an unknown before that.
Oh,
really,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, Game of Thrones is what really.
Ricardo Montalban is also one. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what? Come to think of it, like even his villain character in Wonder Woman, had that whole subplot of him like trying to take care of his kid. He's just been. He is daddy, dude. He is typecast daddy.
It's interesting, Annie, when you read that whole description, it's almost like that's like the meme where like the Office meme where it's like Corbett wants you to tell her the difference between these two pictures,
right?
And then she's like, it's the same picture,
right?
There is no, because the description you read is basically it could work for both.
I mean, and really, when you think about it, actually, it's not exactly precise, but there is a similarity to what they're doing with Bad Batch as well. Like there's like running themes of daddies. But I digress. We're talking about The Mandalorian season 2. Okay, so did either of you guys get any rewatching in?
Okay, we talked last week about the electronic tooth biting thing in Bad Batch that the clone spy did, and and that was in the episode where Bo-Katan was in the cockpit, and the guy bit on. It was like, oh crap! That's
that's right.
Electric gizmo. I had totally forgotten about that.
The Imperial commander who nerfs his pilots when he's gonna try and scuttle the ship. Yeah, you know, I how about you, Lexi? Did you get to watch through any?
I rewatched the last episode, and then I ended up watching like not recap, but I ended up watching like the released clip for for season 3 on the website and the trailers.
Nice.
But I didn't get a huge chance to. I'm surprised I even knew it was Monday. Like COVID set me back so badly financially that I've been. I have like 9 days straight of work with no break, and it's like long event shifts. Like you guys know any kind of event life, like how long.
Yes.
Oh yes, I do.
Yep. Believe me, I rallied for this. Let me tell you. You're welcome, everybody watching.
So I gotta say, there was. I did manage to get through a full rewatch. I watched through from chapter 9 through the end of season 2, chapter 16, and then I also managed to watch the last 3 episodes of Boba Fett. And I gotta say, so much happened. I can't believe all this happened, like in that one season, because it feels like so much is like. I mean, okay, just going through things like the first episode, chapter 9 was when they introduced Cobb Vanth to us into bringing a novel character into live action. We also saw a crate dragon for the first time, and that whole sequence with the crate dragon, with the people of Freetown or Moss,
and Troy Kotzer playing the creating
chief,
the sign language, and then he won an Oscar for Coda.
So cool.
But that whole thing is so cool and such amazing world building and just absolutely bonkers. Like that's the thing I like. There's a part of me that like, after loving Andor so much, and just kind of forgetting how bonkers Star Wars is, because it's such a different tone, and there's all that room to just go do crazy
bonkers
stuff.
or gonkers?
Bonkers. Oh yes, gonky. Well, it's like or in chapter 10 where like the throwaway character and Pelimoto is in the cantina. And they just have like references to Dr. Mandibles. That is this like 8-foot tall ant puppet, just sitting there and playing sabak cards. It's like it is hysterical. It's like this is ridiculous, but it is like just awesome. All the stuff with the. Oh, go ahead.
Speaking of fun and just crazy, even like the little frog lady.
Yeah.
Right? Like eating keeping Grogu from eating the eggs, and like, you know what I mean? And even in that episode there's like a huge ice spider.
Yeah, the ice spiders. The whole thing, when the ice spiders are chasing them, and to get a little bit more speed, Frog Lady starts like doing leaping.
Yeah.
It's just like this is so bonkers. But I love it. I absolutely love it. It's hysterical. This was also introducing Carson Teva with that episode, actually, who is Paul Sun Kim, Appa from Kim's Convenience. And kind of his gateway into the Star Wars universe, which was very exciting. Of course, he will be playing Uncle Iroh in the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender series on Netflix, which I think is due out next year. some leaks about that. That's another show. That could be another show, actually. I'd be down for that show.
I totally forgot about that. What's her name? The wrestler was even in all of this.
Oh, I know. Sasha Banks, right?
No. That's Snoop Dogg's niece. That's I'm talking about the one who came out as like awful.
She wasn't a wrestler. She was a MMA fighter.
MMA
fighter.
Yeah,
Cara Dune. I totally forgot Cara, but I forgot about Cara Dune.
I totally forgot about Cara Dune as well.
But
I was like, how did I forget about her?
But Sasha Banks is in it, and also that whole in the finale sequence with Sasha Banks, Casca Reeves, Cara Dune, Bo-Katan, and Ming-Na, and
it was so good.
Fennec Shand overtaking the Artican's Imperial cruiser.
When that crew walked out, I just like giggled and not in like a derogatory way, and like a fuck them up, girls. Like could not wait for that to happen.
But all of them, just completely formidable presences,
Oh yeah.
Regardless of costuming, regardless of
the black shiny robot troopers, I had forgotten about them. And the fact that they kidnapped Grogu, I had forgotten about that. Like I'm like, what? I'm just like, how did I forget all of this?
Going through it all over again.
I forgot about the Snoke tease. Well, maybe the Snoke tease, right? But that whole thing where they infiltrate the base and they find the tubes. They see the thing with the Dr. Pershing's going.
And Bill Burr? How did I forget about Bill Burr?
Bill Burr.
And just like the revelation of like what they were doing with Grogu, like the blood.
The whole M-count transfusion stuff that they were teasing out. I was like, I forgot about all those plot points too.
Well, even that, like, there's just like, even just the Bo-Katan stuff was just like a huge revelation, right?
Yeah.
And you learn about like the different sects.
Hi, Rodney.
Hey, Rodney.
My goodness, you sound like me.
Conversation about the clones. We're not talking about clones.
How they like, he's like, you have your helmets off. He's like, well, no, that's a whole different thing, a whole different tribe.
It really just, I think like when we first started reviewing the first season of Mandalorian, I was like, they kind of remind me of space Latinos because there's, they're all like really proud of their culture, but there is no one particular, they kind of all come from different races and like they're all raised kind of differently, and like there's
like unifying things.
Yeah, they've got some unifying things, but like all of their experiences with the culture is so different, and this just like all the different sects of Mandalorians really like that just like brought it home for me, where I was like, oh yeah, you're gonna have some who are very like purists and I don't know, I still stand by that statement.
When I say it, it's definitely going to be sex. We get we're going to see, because in the previews we see the armorer, and of course we see the Bo-Katan group of Mandalorians. So I can't wait to see that conflict between the two. Sex.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, I prefer to say the X one, but then in this case, the sex.
But it's interesting too, because they did set it up where, I think one other highlight of the season was like the Darksaber fight.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Bringing the Darksaber and
bringing the Darksaber, and then talking about Boba Fett, kind of addressed that too, right? The episodes or the Book of Boba Fett, they addressed the whole Darksaber, and then the leader of the Mandalorians. So I think season 3 is definitely gonna dive into like who really leads the Mandalorians. Is it Bo-Katan? Is it going to be Mandalorian? Like, because he has the Darksaber, right? Like, it's gonna be.
Now, before we get too deep into the Mandalorian lore, because I do want to get into that, there's a couple more things that more things that I completely forgot about in Mandalorian season 2 that kind of blew me away, that's out there in the world, right? Of course, because we didn't really get into the whole Ahsoka episode, right? The Jedi, where we see a live action Ahsoka facing off against Diana Inosanto as Morgan Elsbeth, which we still there are teases that she might be one of the knights of, or not the knights,
did we interview her on the show?
No, we have not. We tried, but
we did the stunt double.
Yeah, we talked to who worked on some of the choreography for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But and also just like Michael Biehn of it all in that episode, and then you have like the samurai film and the Western shootout kind of,
and the mention of Thrawn. Also, like the deeper dives, like the HK droids that had the 7th Fleet logo printed on their head, which is another nod to Thrawn. Like that's like some crazy stuff. You mentioned Migs Mayfield, like that was an incredible episode just for what's the actor's name again, or the comic's name again? Who plays Migs? Bill
Mayfield?
Burr.
Bill Burr delivers an incredible performance of trauma when he's confronted with his old commander and he's able to question him about Operation Cinder. And it's an amazing scene, like the tension of it, as Pedro Pascal doesn't have his mask on, is trying to figure out how to talk to this commander, and Bill Burr's character Mayfield just cannot lose this opportunity to question his commanding officer about sending him and his fellow troopers to their death.
And how uncomfortable Pedro Pascal is, because this guy is the first one to see his face since he was a child.
Like this dude.
And it's this guy. Yeah.
It's this guy.
and he's probably like, man, I should have taken the helmet off of the Widow instead. Damn it.
That's right.
But then when he takes it off for Grogu, when Luke is about to take Grogu away, okay, that's no. You guys, if you can watch the last episode before you watch the season premiere of season 3, just to see that moment.
The puppetry is so good with the little hand. Daddy, there's something between us.
Little hand on the face.
Daddy, there's something between us.
Well, okay, so then even getting to from that to like how great actor's name, Moff Gideon. What's his name? My brain is not working.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, Esposito.
Yes,
Giancarlo
thank you.
Esposito.
How much he just, like, every word is delectable as he taunts Bo-Katan. It's like, oh no, you can't just give her the Darksaber. She is bound to win it in combat.
He's so good at playing scary people.
Oh my god. The credits to that man's name, let me tell you. I would like to give birth to a Grogu except for the ears. I feel like that would be really painful.
Well, no, they're supposed to be floppy. They're not that.
So
they're just floppy.
Rigid.
What if he comes out breech?
It would be,
you guys.
It would be like
cartilage.
But it would be like a German Shepherd puppy, Like I've got pictures of Hera with her big old Grogu ears, and they were just floppity flop for a long time.
Oh.
Speaking of, I think she's outside banging at the door, trying to get in. Anyway.
So anything else from the Mandalorian?
Do we consider
Luke, right?
Do we consider those few episodes of Book of Boba Fett to be like Mandalorian episodes? Because they filmed it, didn't they? Didn't we hear? I don't think it was ever confirmed, but we heard whispers that it was technically filmed for Mandalorian season 3. But then, because Book of Boba Fett was only supposed to be 3 episodes, and for whatever reason, they kind of combined the 2 or something.
Yeah, I think they rejiggered everything. And hopefully that, obviously, what I do. What I do.
Nothing, I'm just joking. Sorry.
You have a double entendre. I don't know what the double entendre is.
I don't know. Just keep going. I've consumed a lot of vodka. Just keep going.
But okay, so
I'm just
even
messing
still,
with you. Is basically.
those last 3 episodes are super consequential, right? You know, I mean, you know, okay, memorable things from that was the oneer shot that Bryce Dallas Howard does using the volume where he's on the ring world and he goes down a level and up a level using the elevator, and they just swap the set in between the elevator cut, like that whole thing. The all the time with him in the covert with the armorer and Paz Vizsla, the other Vizsla.
Yeah.
And the whole challenge, and it's like, dude, like you Vizsla guys gotta just chill, because like there's only 3. You just said there's only 3 of you, and you're gonna try and kill the guy, you know, 30% of your army to rebuild your society. Like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
I also really appreciated some callbacks to lightsaber lore in how the armor is teaching him how to use the dark saber, and a lot of the verbiage mirrors some of the lightsaber lessons that that they had in Rebels for when Lexi, what are their names?
Ezra.
No, not Ezra. For what's her name? Bomber. Sabine. Yes. And that whole idea of fighting the blade or letting the blade, you know, trusting the will of the blade, all that kind of cool stuff. And I had also forgotten about like the whole N1 Starfighter bit. Right. Daddy has let go of his child, and so now he needs a midlife crisis speedster. He's empty nesting.
Yeah, that midlife crisis ship.
But also the way they made Wizard actually cool. And she says, "How was it?" He's like, "Wizard."
Yeah. God. Yeah.
I do love that there's a little seat for Grogu in it.
Yes, little pop-o-matic bubble.
I think
what do you guys mostly?
Cool I think it's. I'm sorry, Tracy.
That's okay.
I think it's really cool too how they, you know, he's like a classic, you know, hero journey where he's collecting all of these new weapons, right?
Right.
You know, he's got the Beskar spear.
That was
and he gets the dark saber, and now he's got this really cool ship, right? It's like he's gathering all this, like, you know, he's leveling up, right?
Didn't the spear get melted down for more armor or something?
Well, yeah, that was another thing I forgot. The whole thing about the armorer's speech about how Beskar should never be made for weapons because the Beskar spear can pierce Beskar armor, so it is antithetical to the way to use Beskar for weapons. That's like a whole sacrilege. So the idea to melt down the spear to create a chainmail shirt, a little mithril. Shirt for
that's
for Grogu.
Right. Yeah, thanks for reminding
I forgot
me.
about that too.
Yeah, I forgot about that too. Yeah. So yeah, he's got the mithril armor now.
Which means we're definitely gonna see him get stabbed this next season for sure.
Well, that's something interesting with the trailer, because there's like some like agency to Grogu now, which I'm, you know, could be like part of that whole of embracing the hokiness of Star Wars, which I kind of can't wait for badass Grogu. But it'll be like cute badass Grogu. It's Grogu.
We're gonna see it
pushing
in the
a monster out of the cave.
Yeah.
I also have a I'm
Did that give you
vibes
of the nurse or the nurse robot?
The what?
Taking Grogu out of the cave. The nurse robot. The what is it? The I something 88.
The one
who
that got
was
retrofitted.
Oh,
the one that got retrofitted.
IG-11, you mean?
Yeah.
IG-11, thank you. Where did it get 88 from? I don't know. But like how he was taking Grogu out of the cave and sacrificed himself. Like, did that like give you the like reminiscent of that scene? But this time it was Grogu protecting himself.
I didn't think of that, but you're totally right. That's there is a vibe there. The other thing too is he's got a new little egg, floaty egg, right? And I kind of hope that it's tricked out, like it's got
Lasers.
Got lasers
in it. Yeah,
Lasers.
it's got little baby.
I knew I liked you for a reason, Rodney.
It'd be dope if he had like those little missiles that shoot out of his wrist.
Oh yeah, if he's got
right?
whistling
like
birds
side.
in the little egg.
on the side, like
That'd be awesome.
I mean, he basically is in training to be a Mandalorian, right? So that would make sense.
It really interesting. Yeah, he's like Mandalorian / Jedi. You know, he's bridging the two sex.
He's crossing the streams. The sex.
Don't cross the streams. Positronic reversal.
Well, and it is interesting, right? So now we know Grogu is going to be continuing to use the Force, despite abandoning the Jedi path.
And you definitely see that in the little teaser clip that they have on the Disney site.
Yeah.
Where Grief Karga is trying to offer Din Djarin a plot of land. And,
where he's using the Force to spin in the chair.
Right, he's bored. He's using the Force to spin the chair, and then he's like, "Kids, stop!" And then he's like, "All right, fine. I want one of these M&Ms." I'm surprised they didn't make the M&Ms blue, but yeah. Yeah, and he just picks up whatever the space equivalent, Star Wars equivalent of an M&M is, and Force floats it over to himself. Yeah.
The macaron.
Yeah. No.
These are orange, right?
They were like little orange.
Right. Sorry. I meant that was the space equivalent of a.
No, it's in the. No, they literally. It looks like a bowl of M&Ms on Grief Karga's desk, like businessman with like candy there, and it looks like a bowl of orange M&Ms. And after
he looks like he's come up too.
Yeah. He's got a distinguished beard, and yeah.
Do you think? Okay, so there's so much that happened in season 2, so many appearances. So we're pretty sure Bo-Katan's gonna show up, but do you think Ahsoka is gonna show up again too?
I think definitely, because they're gonna want to do stuff to promote
her show,
set up the Ahsoka show that is due out. Yeah. Is it due at the end of this year or next year?
I want to say this year, but
I do too. I have it in the notes. They haven't said a date, but they have announced 2023. But I mean, based on everything that's happened in previous, I'm sure that can slide to like this time 2024.
Who's gonna play Thrawn?
We don't know yet. We still don't.
I mean, the rumors are still it's Lars Mikkelsen. Continuing the role because he voiced it for Rebels. So
yeah, but didn't he play what's her name's dad in Rogue One?
Oh no. That's the other Mikkelsen.
That's Mads Mikkelsen.
That's
sorry.
Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah. His brother Lars voiced Thrawn on Rebels.
Gotcha.
We're also supposed to get Skeleton Crew this year too.
Yeah.
And that, I do kind of wonder if that is also spinning off of these shows as well. So it would be very interesting.
You guys, we're 7 minutes over.
And we do have casting for Ezra Bridger for Ahsoka as well, which is exciting.
Oh yeah, who is it? I can't remember.
Iman Esfadi.
Is he the guy who played Aladdin?
It is not him.
No, that was Mena Massoud.
The guy who played Aladdin just got cast in something.
Yeah, but it was not him. That's Mena Massoud.
Okay. What has this guy been in? Do you remember?
Nope.
I do not know.
I'm gonna look him up.
I know that Sabine is played by Natasha.
Yes.
Lou Bordizzo, I think is her name. I don't know what her like resume prior to this has been, but I know that like it sounds like the core of the cast for the Ahsoka series are her and oh god, my brain is not working. What is her name?
We're just
Ahsoka.
non-functional right now, you guys.
He was in
Rosario Dawson. Good god.
Rosario Dawson, which I always think Rosario Dawson, and then for some reason my brain wants to say Daphne Rubin Vega because of the,
Right.
Oh, it has nothing to do with anything. Okay, so Iman Asfadi has been in 2022. He was in The Inspection, 2021 King Richard, and Red 11
King
in
Richard,
2018.
a movie or?
Yeah, I don't
I
don't know if it was actually like Shakespeare or what.
I mean, oh, or is it the King Richard, the Will Smith movie maybe?
Probably. I think
might have been it,
yes,
yeah.
yes, it was. Yeah, he was in the Will Smith King Richard.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead is also in it in Ahsoka, but they don't.
Sorry,
say
who
what-
is that?
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Is that what's his name's wife?
That is
Ewan McGregor's right?
wife,
Yeah, right. And there's a lot of rumors that she might be playing Hera.
There's also maybe she might be Mara Jade. Mara Jade.
See, I don't think they're gonna bring in Mara.
You don't think
Jade.
Mara Jade?
I feel like there isn't really a place for her in this new continuity now, right? I mean, I do love the character too, but it's like her story is so tied to Luke at this point.
Yeah, so I think, somebody in the chat, Doja Rat, said they think they'll tie back into Boba Fett series. I think Boba Fett's going to show up again, too.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
certainly.
I think so. But anything new, I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, this was something else I forgot. That whole bit at the end of the Boba Fett after credits teaser with Cobb Vanth in the Bacta tube with what's his name, the mod guy, like looming over him, right? So
yeah, he's like
presumably we'll get
or something, right?
Yeah, he's like a
real
bassist
life?
for a band or something like that. But yeah, I mean, presumably we'll get Cobb Vanth with a robot arm or something like that.
Yeah, it's Thundercat is the guy's name.
Thundercat, yes.
Yeah, the bass player.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
But yeah, it's exciting because I mean, if they're gonna pack in as much as they did in season 2, it's gonna be a wild ride. I can't wait to see it.
I mean that, and also I expect a lot more setup for all these other shows and projects that we know are coming. I'm hoping we get more Carson Teva. Actually, we know we're getting more Carson Teva because we see him not in a flight suit, so maybe he's going to take up more of that kind of commander role, kind of the main rebel or Republic alliance.
Now that they're not getting their own series, I think he'll be in this one a lot.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So, any big predictions? Anything else anyone wants to say before we wrap for the day?
Nope. Just can't wait to see it.
I'm just excited.
Yeah. Yeah. I was really glad I went and did the rewatch because there was so much that happened in that season that are big kind of world building things that I'm like, oh yeah, this is all cool, a lot of cool stuff to pay off in this season.
If you don't have the time to do that, though, there is a 17-minute. If you just Google
There are a
Mandalorian
few.
season 2 recap, it's a couple years old, but it says Mandalorian season 2 in 17 minutes. And if you watch that, you'll get enough of the gist that you don't have to rewatch the entire season
for
if
that
you don't have
matter,
the time.
hopefully listening to us talk about it has given you a little bit. Oh yeah, that was
And
really
didn't just
cool.
drive you crazy.
It didn't just drive you crazy. But that's it. That's it for our show this week. Anything else from the chat before we move on?
I think we've been pretty much covering it as
right.
we go along. Yeah. I think
So
we're good.
then next week we will be back on Monday. We'll be talking about the Bad Batch episode 11, Metamorphosis, as well as the first episode of season 3 of The Mandalorian, what we've been talking about. So come back and find us same time on Monday. Also, we want to see all of your Star Wars creations. Do you cosplay? Do you make fan films? Do you build droids, build models? Sell stuff on Etsy. Show us how Star Wars has inspired you, and we just might bring you on the show. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're here on the Geekish Network. Please follow Geekish Network on YouTube and Facebook, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for joining us here on Monday nights every week. Well, at least every week now that we have all this content coming up. Check the schedules for all the other great shows on here throughout the week, including Geek Beast, which is not on tonight, but is on most other nights. And thanks to the flight deck to Rodney. And we are, of course, the Pod Squadron. Please check out all of our content on podsquadron.com. Like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, all the things, all the YouTube things. Click all the things. I don't have to say it all again.
I think we even have a website, but I don't know.
All the podcast subscriptions, all the things, you know them by now. You've been listening to us for a while.
At the very least, come back next week and see what I look like after having no days off, and that'll be my first day off.
Oh Lord. So once again, I am the Chinese Pirate at Chinese Pirate _ on all platforms.
I am Tracy, the hot nerd girl. Y'all know where I'm at.
Lexi, Feral Geek Aesthetic on Instagram, Feral Geek on Facebook. Sometimes I post. It's a nice surprise.
And also check out Jason's stuff on Beyond Forever Studios. He's got a Beyond Forever Studios film festival he's talking about.
I think, movie marathon or something.
Yeah, so check out what he's got going on. And, of course, all wings return to base, course laid in, and prepare to make the jump to light speed on my mark. And remember, the truths we cling to depend on your own point of view. Only the Sith deal in absolutes. Good night.
Bye. Yeah, take off this bra. It's coming right off.